Live from downtown Bakersfield, 23 ABC News at 6 starts now.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a traffic alert. Highway 178 through the Kern River Canyon is still closed in both directions. As of right now, between the junction of Highway 184 at Kern Canyon Road and the junction at Highway 155 at Burrell Road. The hours-long closure continues as crews work to remove a semi-truck that went over the side of the road and into the river. According to Kern County Fire officials, around 10 this morning, they received a call for a vehicle over the side in the river. Now, officials determined it was a semi-truck in the river with the driver pinned in. When crews arrived on scene, they saw the driver was able to get out of the vehicle but was stuck on top of it. Fire crews used a rope to bring the driver up, and it took about an hour to get him up and out of the canyon. Officials say he had moderate injuries and was transported by Hall ambulance to Kern Medical. It's unknown at this time what caused the incident. Right now, crews are working to safely tow the truck out of the river. CHP and Caltrans are monitoring for when the roadway will be open. Now, according to an update on the CHP traffic incident website, the road may be back open in about 4 hours. The 15th District Agricultural Association Board of Directors meeting has been going on for over an hour now. Kern County Fairgrounds officials discussing a variety of issues, including whether or not the Kern County Fair will operate this year. 23 ABC's Bayan Wang has been listening in on their teleconference meeting and joins us live from the fairgrounds. Bayan, have they made a decision on the fair yet?
Yeah, Jessica, so that's what was expected, but it seems like they're not going to be making a decision on whether the fair will operate or not for a long time. They highlighted the fact that there's still about 5 months before the fair is scheduled to operate. That's September 23rd till October 4th. Meantime, officials with the fairgrounds, they are most concerned with the revenue that they may be losing if there's no fair this year. Officials anticipating a loss of at least $3 million if the fair does not happen. They also played with different models that would basically look at if the fair ran halftime, how much would they lose? If they were only allowed to let a certain amount of people in, how much money would they be able to lose? Banking institutions are also not willing to give loans to the fair because there's currently no income stream guaranteed to the fair, and that's according to the fairground officials. This is what Don Stornetta, a fairground official, had to say at the teleconference meeting today.
We don't want to make any big decisions without knowing what could happen in 5 months. If we call it good and we cancel now and in 5 months we don't have an issue, we look real dumb. So the idea is if we can have some sort of numbers there, we want to give the opportunities to the kids to not lose out on an experience that they've worked all year long for.
And now, while county officials don't want to wait, fairground officials, while they don't want to wait too long, while they don't want to make a decision too quickly, they also don't want to wait too long because there's a lot of vendors that commit several months ahead of time with them. So when they find out, when they get a better, more accurate look at whether Governor Gavin Newsom is going to ease orders, they'll be communicating that with their vendors. For now, we're live at the fairgrounds. Bayan Wang, 23 ABC, connecting you.
We want to turn now to the latest update from the Kern County Public Health Department on COVID-19. Data showing the number of negative test results continues to outpace the number of positive results. The Public Health Department says so far 643 residents and 9 non-residents have tested positive. The death toll remains at 3. However, officials also adding that 234 patients have recovered. As for other testing totals, more than 4,600 people have tested negative and nearly 2,500 tests are still pending. Now let's take a look at how the breakdown looks by region here. The most cases coming from Bakersfield East with 330. Officials reporting 197 cases from Bakersfield West, 80 from the Valley, 18 from both the mountain and desert regions. A new scheme is emerging, people posing as health officials using the coronavirus pandemic as a new way to target their victims for their personal information. 23 ABC's Kylie Walker spoke to the Kern County District Attorney's Office on what you should be suspicious of. Kylie?
Yeah, just so the District Attorney's Office tells me that every year taxpayers end up paying $68 billion in healthcare fraud, but they're expecting that number to be even higher at $300 billion a month due to COVID-19 related healthcare fraud.
It all starts with a text or a phone call. We know that people are receiving information about at-home COVID-19 testing kits, safety kits. So kits that would include gloves, hand sanitizers, fake N95 masks.
Andy Bridges, who is a lawyer with the Kern County District Attorney's Office, says after that text or call, the person behind the call ultimately just wants to gain an individual's personal information so they can assume their identity for theft crimes.
The other thing is it's not just personal identifying information to later steal money, but if they can obtain an individual's healthcare information, the insurance number, and all of that information, they can create fake bills and act as providers and then bill the insurance companies.
Bridges tells 23ABC they've heard of fraud causes happening door to door or in front of grocery stores where groups are claiming to be from a health organization.
Offering at-home free COVID-19 tests, which there are not any. They will say, you just need to give us your insurance information, but we won't charge anything.
Bridges also warns about schemes involving new medical tests for COVID-19 like antibody testing, a test done through a finger prick or blood work that allegedly tests to see if an individual ever had the coronavirus.
Which initially the FDA did allow, but as of April 11th, they stopped that because what we learned was that these Chinese corporations were sending out these tests in huge numbers, saying that they were valid and verified when actually they weren't.
She adds that when the tests first came out, the U.S. government and some U.S. companies thought that these tests were legitimate.
It was the Chinese companies who were marketing them who were committing the fraud to our detriment.
And the loophole for these tests, while the tests are not FDA approved, they aren't legally required to be.
There has been a huge lifting in federal restrictions across the board from the FDA, the DEA, numerous federal agencies, and now they're having to backtrack what they've allowed and play catch up, which is exactly what the FDA is doing.
Now, the district attorney's office tells me in order to avoid all scams, only give out information to your trusted healthcare officials. And if you yourself have fallen victim to a scam, log on to turn23.com for a full list of contacts that you would need to contact if this were the case. But for now, reporting in Bakersfield, I'm Kylie Walker, 23ABC, connecting you.
A senior community in Northwest Bakersfield has found a new and innovative way to keep families and their loved ones connected in person with everyone still practicing social distancing. Since the COVID-19 outbreak, the Palms at San Lorenzo Senior Community has been taking the proper measures in keeping their residents and staff safe. No visitors are allowed on their campus, which is home to 43 residents, according to staff. The no visitors rule has been tough for those families. So staff came up with the idea to create an 8-foot-tall plexiglass shield, really, allowing loved ones to see each other in person while keeping a safe distance.
I've had a lot of tears, because we were able to let them visit, but of course 6 feet away. So they weren't able to see the family members up close.
The Palms tells 23ABC they are blessed to announce that at this time they have no COVID-19 cases. Coming up at 11 p.m. tonight, 23ABC's Leslie Gooden will introduce us to a resident whose family came at the right time. And of course, we want you to tell us how you are making it during these times. Are you watching movies, doing activities with your kids? Email us your videos to news@kero.com and send us your pictures to our 23ABC Facebook page. You may see some of them right here on 23ABC for our Making It segment. All right, let's turn now and bring in 23ABC's meteorologist Allison Gargero with a look at our forecast. We are warming right on up, Allison.
Oh yeah, Jess, it is going to be a very warm weekend ahead, potentially reaching the 90s, but I'll have more details on that in just a few minutes. As for now, those temperatures staying below seasonal today because the storm system is sweeping through the region. Now, most of the action is happening up near Fresno, but we aren't going to rule out the chance to see some very light showers in the Kern County mountains this evening, continuing throughout the early morning hours on Tuesday. But by the time mid-morning rolls around, we're going to be seeing some clearing skies, potentially still some gusty winds through the Kern County mountain passes. Now, so far this month, Bakersfield has seen 2.61 inches of rain, and that means that we are on pace for its third wettest April on record. The first was just shy of 3 inches of rain that was set back in 1915. Now, again, we could be maybe seeing 1/100th of an inch or so from this storm system, but most likely we are going to be staying dry. And just like Jessica said, those temperatures will be warming up by the weekend. I have more details on your full forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Allison, thanks. A fire in the attic of a historic train depot in Shafter caused $16,000 in damage this morning. According to the Kern County Fire Department, crews responded just after 8 a.m. to reports of smoke coming from the depot's roof. Now, when they arrived, they found the source of the fire coming from the attic. KCFD officials said the work involved in extinguishing an attic fire is very labor intensive and time consuming. No injuries were reported and the cause of the fire is unknown. New developments tonight concerning the officer-involved shooting in Oildale over the weekend. The Kern County Sheriff's Office identified the suspect arrested as 28-year-old Eduardo Ceballos. Ceballos is being charged with 6 counts of attempted homicide and conspiracy to commit crime. According to officials, KCSO deputies were dispatched to reports of shots fired in the 300 block of May Street near Sycamore Drive in Oildale just before 1 a.m. Saturday morning. While on scene, deputies determined the shots were fired from a moving car. A short time later, they spotted 2 people in the same moving car and attempted to pull it over. The car failed to yield and led the deputies on a pursuit. According to KCSO, one person in the car fired multiple shots at deputies during the pursuit. The car became disabled near the intersection of California Avenue and Mervin's Place. An officer-involved shooting occurred with one of those suspects. That suspect was pronounced dead at the scene. The second suspect, Eduardo Ceballos, was taken into custody after a standoff. KCSO saying no deputies were injured during the incident and deputies involved in the officer-involved shooting were placed on routine administrative leave.